Hi everyone and welcome to another update here at the Freegivores farm. It's been a while since our last update, so there's a lot to get through this week, so let's get started. Since I'm sitting here, let me just jump straight in and talk about this wood. So a while we cut some of this teak down. It was more like teenage teak, so not the strongest teak. You can see it's quite white and only elements of it brown, which is the real hardwood. So we had this idea of drying the wood, so we left it as it was cut, and we realized, being novices, this wasn't working. So we reached out to the woodcutter that cut the trees down and asked him if he can do this for us. He said it's quite an advanced thing and he doesn't do it. So he reached out to his father, who's been doing it for years, and we do understand it's quite a trade to do this, so we're glad we got an expert to do it. This is going to be drying out for quite a while, and once it's dry we'll be able to use the larger sections for structure in different elements, and then the smaller pieces for furniture and different aesthetic elements within the house and the land. One of the things that I really like about nature is all the byproducts one gets from different things that we do on the land. So cutting this wood, we left with all these offcuts. We are now able to use these for different temporary building things that we want to do on the land. We're using them for steps going down steep slopes. We're also using them for the sides of our planter beds and to designate different areas. We also had a lot of wood chip cuttings. Those we threw on our planter beds that we haven't planted yet, in order to keep the sun from damaging the soil. So when we're ready to plant there, it'll be perfectly moist still. And then we've also, the even smaller offcuts, we're just putting alongside different trees throughout the land, and this is just to dry, and we can use this for firewood at a later stage. I think I'm going to even put a little video together of all these different byproducts, as I've only mentioned 3, but I think we got to 10 or 11. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
We finally got our bamboo structure up, well, Chris did with the help of our helper on the land, and it's looking quite Japanesey actually, which we absolutely love. This bamboo is extremely heavy, so luckily we had some extra workers on the land for a couple of days to help Chris to get this up. Fortunately, I planted these granadilla plants about 2 months ago, so they've already got some nice growth on them. So we've just secured them to the bamboo. This one's already reaching the top. Give it a few months and this granadilla plant is going to overtake the structure and it's going to look beautiful and lush. So just a bit of a garden update from my side. As you can see, our peanut grass is looking absolutely lush. It's been probably about 3.5 months and we are already able to take cuttings from this part of the land to plant peanut grass elsewhere on the land, which is amazing. Here I've got some rosella plants that I've grown from seed. Oh, look at the beautiful dragonfly. Sure, he's beautiful. So now that I can see that the rosella works well here, I'm planning to plant a whole lot more to make this a rosella bed. You might notice that a lot of the greenery is missing from the beds, and that's because I had to pull out all of my sweet potato plants because they got taken over by a flea beetle, which makes a whole bunch of lacy holes in the sweet potato, and they'd really taken over, so I needed to pull it all out to help manage the flea beetles, and I plan to replant in a couple of months, just in time for the rainy season. This papaya tree over here, which has already started flowering, has grown so much. It's already taller than me. I'll show you back in my previous videos when I was sitting next to it and it was just this big. So that's really exciting. Hopefully we're going to get some papayas growing on this tree very soon.
This is still quite a work in progress, but this is going to be our shed area, and we've got different layers, different platforms that we'll use for numerous different things. You can see I started doing some paving here on the top section. We'll end up having a roof. We're still deciding on exactly the roof finish that we're wanting, how temporary do we want it. Yeah, this is going to take the next 3 or 4 weeks to complete, so as we go through that process we'll be sharing the updates. While we decide, I might also show you just a couple of other byproducts that we ended up maximizing on. So inside here is where we're keeping our hose at the moment. I made this with a old barrel, a barrel that I had made up for our kiln, but it ended up being slightly misdesigned, so it had a big hole in both the top and the bottom that we couldn't really use. So I decided to use it for this. And then our help on our land, as clever as he is, he put this together for us to make it just more aesthetic. So something with a hosepipe on our land which has quite a dark clay soil. Every time we roll it up it gets extremely dirty. So by having this it also makes it very easy to clean. We just put this on and then just spray all the soil off, and then the next time we use it it's wonderfully clean. Having finally got the stream up and running, I got that final part and the missing piece of the puzzle, and it's running wonderfully. We were also able then to do the bridge, and we did that as a simple concrete structure, and we plan to do some timber railings, maybe with some string, just to make it aesthetic.
With our stream flowing so beautifully and our pond's nice and full, we wanted to get some plants for the pond and the surrounding area. So our Help on the Land son helped us to source some of these beautiful lilies and some tropical plants. Fortunately, tropical plants are abundantly available in the surrounding area, so he managed to source them. The tropical plants were so big and heavy, he transported them by scooter. He said that every time another car or scooter came past, he had to pull off the road to allow them past. But he managed to get them here, we managed to get them in the ground, and they are just looking absolutely beautiful. It's as though they were always meant to be here. We are learning from the locals and following in their footsteps, so we also managed to source some ferns from a nearby river where we usually go to get some fresh drinking water. So I think we'll be doing a lot more of this in the future. It's a very cost-effective and efficient way to get our garden looking lush and tropical. Chris managed to get our worm farm going. They're very shy of the light, so they dive away as soon as light comes in. For now, we just use a few materials that we have on the land to make up a makeshift one, just as a tester. Both of us are new to worm farming. It's not something we've ever done, so we just wanted to do a sample to see how it goes, and then at a later stage we're planning to do a much bigger worm farm down by a shed. With the amount of fruit that we eat, we're going to need a lot of worms and a lot of space for worm farming. Our durian and mangosteen fruits are growing so nicely. Look at all of them! Wow. Chris is climbing to tie our 7 kg Bangkok before it falls so that it doesn't crack when it hits the ground. One durian in the bag.
Yo, I can see this tree.
There's Chris at the top. We're expecting our first durians to fall any day now. This durian tree, we initially thought it was a Bangkok durian tree, but as the durians are growing and after speaking to some of the locals, we're not convinced it is a Bangkok durian. So we're actually not sure what we're going to get. We're just going to have to wait and see and taste and run forth. This is a nice hanging branch. Rambutan, rambutan. Sure, I can hear it from here. Let's go look at how our creek is flowing.
Check it out. So before, this whole stream obviously only flows when there's heavy rains like we had last night, and we wouldn't hear anything, we wouldn't see anything because of the width of this channel. It only created a thin, small little stream going through. So now what we've done is we've pulled it up here and pulled it up lower down there, and it creates a wonderful waterfall sound. So even with our attempt to do a local boundary, which included these boundary plants over here with a structure to hold them up, they have been struggling a bit, so we're waiting for the rainy season. But behind that, what we've now decided to do is plant lots of sugarcane. It grows into quite a nice bunch, which gives a lot of protection from the road, which will be nice. And an added bonus, obviously, we can juice it and eat it, which we love to do. So about 70 running meters, and they're planted around 750 to a meter apart.
Just getting some of this nice soft soil, so nice and moist after the rain, and using these cement planter bags to replant some of my little seedlings. I'll show you what I've been up to. Over here, I've just finished planting these Mentega durian seeds, which I sprouted in a bag with some tissue, and now I'll just put them in here until they look like that before I repot them in their own pots. Here, these are some jackfruit seeds that I sprouted, and now that they're getting a little bit bigger, I'm going to put them into their own pots, like this one over here. This one's about just over a month old. Pretty impressive. So I'm going to take this tall one over here. I want to be careful not to damage its roots. And I'm going to pop it in here. Won't even know he's got a new home.
So what else have you got here?
Over here, this is a monoembryonic mango. It's a Brazilian mango. These are polyembryonic mangoes, which means that it sprouts more than one main shoot from one seed. So from some of them I've even got 3 mangoes from one Harimanus mango seed. This is some soursop. This is another monoembryonic mango. Sure, it's already got some leaves. I planted this one about 2 weeks ago. This is durian, and some more jackfruit. And over here on the side we're sprouting some sugarcane. Just really wanted them to get some roots before we put them in the ground. Okay. Come on, chickens. We're going for an evening walk. You coming with? They followed us all the way from the top. Okay, let's go, let's go. We have a bit of a situation here. We're just going for an evening walk.
And we spotted 2 on our path. So let's have a look.
2 fallen durians.
Exactly 4.
Could it be?
But these, I think, are
Premature. My goodness. Could it be? Our first durian has fallen.
1 or 2 wormholes. And
Is that a crack?
And that's a crack.
So do you think it's going to ripen?
I don't know.
Either way, it's a good sign.
Yeah.
Durians are falling.
Sure. So this one we're pretty sure fell because it was ready. This one looks like it, but it's got this extra thing, so maybe not. But this one, too young. You can see its join is somewhere here, and it fell from its top section. So don't think so.
Chris is busy eyeing out our next durian that we anticipate will fall. How big do you think it is?
I think now it's like 5.5.
And then it's still got 1 kilogram and a bit to go. Let's see.
Maybe it just fell now.
Imagine.
Would I catch it? No.
She literally can't wait. Yes,